guys, and welcome to TezMania TV. Today's video is a requested one, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about dressing alternatively and being invited to events that require formal attire, such as weddings or bigger like corporation parties or whatever it may be, like whenever there's a stricter dress code. I'm just gonna give my view on the whole thing, like how to stay true to your own style but still follow a specific dress code. Dressing formal for alternative people, I suppose. Now, first things first, people can't force you to wear something that you absolutely do not want to wear, okay? For instance, nobody can fucking force you to wear high heels because it's considered dressy. I would never fucking put high heels on my feet, ever. And showing up at a wedding or a fancy party or a ball or a prom or whatever it may be, wearing something other than high heel shoes has to be accepted. If these people don't accept that, they can just go fuck themselves. People can't expect you to be somebody else for these things, so there are always ways to be yourself. Number one, if you usually only wear black, you can still only wear black. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, but you're not allowed to wear black at weddings. It's like the 21st fucking century, people. Come on, not allowed to wear black. And honestly, if you get invited to somebody's wedding, I'm thinking that these people hopefully know who you are well enough to know how you dress and what you look like. And if they expect you to show up wearing something that isn't you, they're just being super egotistical, because honestly, how important could it be that somebody who always wears black does not wear black on their wedding because you're not supposed to? It's so stupid. So if you've been invited to something like this and it's a like strict formal dress code attire thing and you're worried that you're not allowed to wear what you want to wear, just give them a call and ask. You can always do that. And like I said, these people hopefully know you and will accept the fact that you're going to show up looking like you because you're you. It's not a masquerade party. For me, recent formal attire events have been weddings, a ball, and a really super fancy Christmas party with the office at the concert hall in Stockholm a couple years ago. So those are the ones that I'm going to be using as examples from my life. So the most recent wedding party that I went to was a couple months ago, and obviously I looked like myself. The dress code was, I think, suit, which means a dress for the ladies. It doesn't mean full length dress, it means like a cocktail version of a dress. So I just wore a classic tiny black dress, nothing specific, no crazy goth brand or anything like that. You can always pull back on the crazy alternative details a little bit out of respect if you feel that it's necessary, but still wearing black kind of makes me feel like I'm still myself though, so I'm okay with that. And then obviously I wore my biggest fucking platforms to go with that dress. Now these are not like chunky walking around in the mud kind of platforms. These are fancy, nice, neat platforms, but they're still 18 centimeters high, so I was a freaking tall lady. But the only comments that I got about like my getup or my entire look were positive. People are always like, oh, you look cool, oh, I wish I wore my Doc Martens, god damn it, seeing like all these ladies walking around on fucking heels being in pain, looking like jealously down on my platforms. So yeah, that was awesome. And then there was a wedding a couple years ago where I basically didn't know anyone other than the bride and groom. So you kind of never know what like family and stuff were gonna react. And I had big purple wool dreads and yeah, all that jazz. But everybody still loved it. Like maybe some of the older relatives were looking like a little bit suspicious at me, but there was nothing rude said. Like Swedes are pretty private people. We usually keep these things to ourselves, which is helpful when you're alternative. And then for the super formal fancy office party that we went to, the dress code was black tie, I guess. So yeah, it was long dresses was the whole idea, and I wanted to get something new because I didn't like have a long fancy dress hanging around. So I got myself a full-length black skirt, like in different layers. I got it from the Gothic shop, and then I got a black simple underbust corset, and I think I wore just like a regular U-line, kind of a little bit of cleavage, puffy sleeved top with that, and then I had a tiara, and I had like super big ass fluffy short wool dreads, so it was just like a troll hair and that little tiara, and then with like fancy gloves and everything like that, and big ass boots, obviously, because that's the only kind of shoes that I wear. And everyone else was like traditional black tie with sort of prom or ball dresses and high heels and all that jazz. But again, these are people that I work with. They see me every day. They know that this is what I look like. Nobody was shocked that I showed up like that. And still, like a corset, there's really nothing wrong with that. I mean, for me, I'm to the point where I'm so alternative right now that I can wear really normal looking clothes and still look alternative because of the tattoos and the piercings and the makeup and the hair and the shoes. Like, just changing the clothes into something super normal is not gonna change much. So I have no problems like going into H&M and just buying a regular cocktail dress and showing up in that. I don't have to wear something by, say, Queen of Darkness or one of my other favorite brands. I'm okay with wearing a regular dress because I still look alternative. There's no way for me to hide that anymore. It's just, we're so way past that point right now. But maybe for people who are just a little bit alternative and they want to show that off without breaking away from the dress code, keep some detail that's for you. If you're going to be with people who are super fuzzy about the way that you look, which is so stupid because, like, who gives a fuck? It's your business, nobody else's. Anyway, but if you are surrounded by people who are like this, or you're attending a wedding or a party or something that's hosted by these people, you don't want to upset people by purposely going in the other direction. You don't want to be like, fuck you and your dress code, man, you're not the boss of me. You don't kind of want to do that. You want to respect these people. If you want to keep them in your life, at least you want to respect them. So the way I would do it, if it ever happened to me, which it never has, but if it would, if I met somebody and they were super picky about the way that I looked and they invited me to something and they kind of made a point out of me having to follow the dress code to a point, I guess I'd follow the dress code, but then just stay true to the color scheme or wear some accessories that were still mine. Maybe steer away from like skulls and drippy fangs and spikes and stuff like that. Maybe tone on the jewelry a little bit. Maybe don't go crazy with the makeup. Maybe don't add cyber locks the day before. There are always ways to pull it back if you feel like you have to, but honestly, I don't think you ever should have to. You're supposed to look like you. It's just weird to ask people to look like anyone else. The most important thing, I think, is showing up like clean and not in rags. Like, you don't want your clothes to be dirty or torn or anything like that. So the kind of punkish fashion that I support a lot of the time, like torn pants or like shirts with holes in them and stuff like that, I wouldn't show up to a formal attire event dressed like that. I'd make sure to have something that still looks dressy, even though it's still alternative. So I think that would be like the number one rule at the very top of the list of tips for this particular situation. Don't be dirty. Be nice and clean, and don't have holes in your clothes, and try to follow the dress code as much as you can, but still try to stay true to yourself. Your clothes can be super on point with the dress code, but then you can kind of steer away a little bit with the accessories and always with the shoes, because again, nobody's fucking forcing me to wear heels. I wouldn't show up in like sneakers at a wedding because that's sports attire. I don't really have any sneakers, but you guys, I hope you guys see the difference. Like, if you don't wear platforms, you can just wear flat, like the ballerina shoes. Be true to yourself. That's important, because otherwise you're gonna be walking around feeling really uncomfortable, having to introduce yourself to people and being social, and people are not gonna see the real you, which I think it's important to be yourself at all times. So whenever I'm going to something where it's supposed to be more formal, but I'm surrounded completely by people who know me and who honestly don't give a fuck what I look like, I kind of steer away from the dress code a little bit. I mean, if it says like you're supposed to wear a cocktail dress, I'll wear a cocktail dress. Fuck yeah, I love cocktail dresses, but not necessarily a normal cocktail dress. Like, if I feel like it's okay to take things one step further, maybe I'll just bring one of my cocktail dresses that's like covered in spikes or that has skulls on it, or I'll wear like some cool goggles in my hair and just still be myself, you know? But I know that not everybody always has that option, and sometimes people get super offended that you don't follow their stupid dress codes. So just kind of try to do like a feel by feel for each time these situations pop up. Make sure to be super polite, and if you're worried, you can always ask. I really don't like this or this, I'm really not comfortable in this, but I'd love to attend your event. Is there any way that I could do this and this instead? Present the problem in a way that doesn't offend them, but just for me, this is all I like. Do it from your perspective, and then present a solution. Quickly telling them the problem, but then solving the problem for them. So all they have to do is say, sure, that's fine. If you're not the complete asshole, sure, that's fine is the correct answer to when somebody asks you that. So I hope this wasn't too ranty. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you have any more specific questions about formal attire, or if you're in a situation where you're like, am I okay to wear this? I don't know. You can ask me in the comments below, or chat me up on facebook.com/TezMania page. And that's basically it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for requesting this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!